Now, the American military Southern Command has released some photographs of the USS Gerald R aircraft carrier strike group. Now, this warship was shown positioned in the western Atlantic Ocean, and it marks a very significant escalation in the tensions with Venezuela. Now, the American President Donald Trump has ordered for the deployment of the USS Gerald R last month, adding to the 8 warships, 1 nuclear submarine and the several F-35 fighter aircraft that were already there in the Caribbean. The USS Gerald R, which was commissioned in 2017, is America's latest aircraft carrier and also the world's largest, with more than 5,000 American sailors on board. On the 13th of November, the U.S. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, announced a military operation called Operation Southern Spear, a move that he claims was to remove the narco-terrorists. And all this comes amidst growing concerns that the U.S. naval buildup in Latin American waters could be followed by the land strikes and also a wider conflict. Furthermore, Trump has stated that a formal decision could soon come on whether or not to take military action against Venezuela, which he is accused of close ties to illegal drug trade. Now, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has once again urged the United States to avoid a conflict, telling them to stop the war. He added that there should not be another Gaza in South America.
It is to the people of the United States that I speak to at this moment, before these 100 jurists from 34 countries, to say, stop the insane hand of those who order bombing, killing and bringing war to South America, to the Caribbean. Stop the war. No to war.
I sort of have made up my mind, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind.
In another development, Guatemala's President Bernardo Arevalo and U.S. Ambassador Tobin Bradley attended a ceremony in Puerto Quetzal. The U.S. handed over $3.5 million worth of military equipment to Guatemala's Army and Naval Special Forces during the ceremony. It's a move that could strengthen bilateral cooperation in combating transnational organized crime, particularly narcotics trafficking. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Mr. Elias Ferrer, who's the founder of Orinoco Research, political and an economic analyst, who's joining us live from Caracas in Venezuela. Mr. Ferrer, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, what do you make of the fact that the United States has now stationed its newest and biggest aircraft carrier, Gerald R. near the waters, in the waters of the Caribbean? What impact is this having on the military mobilization by the Americans already in place?
I think it's still not very clear where this is all going, and it's very significant that when Trump said, I've sort of made up my mind with what I want to do with Venezuela, he says that he's made progress with Venezuela, and then he also mentions Colombia and Mexico. And bringing in an aircraft carrier and the reopening of a military base in Puerto Rico kind of gives the impression that Trump is not only trying to throw some missile strikes inside of Venezuela, but that he's actually trying to build up the whole military presence of the United States in the region, in Latin America and the Caribbean. And they're kind of coming into state.
And also the statement by the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, where he repeatedly said no to war, no to war. This is a clear message that he is not looking for a conflict. But despite that, the Americans have steadily been building up their military mobilization. Is there a sense within Venezuela that if this were to continue, then whether Venezuela wants to fight or not, whether Nicolas Maduro wants to fight or not, a war could be imposed on them?
Oh, I mean, a war can definitely be imposed on them. I mean, Trump can say with the stroke of a pen, he can order or just say it, and he can order airstrikes, missile strikes, any kinds of attacks into Venezuela. Covert operations are probably also on the table. Trump at any moment could decide any kind of military action against Venezuela or any country in the world, right? And especially in the U.S. media, there's been a lot of leaks kind of to build the expectation that war with Venezuela is inevitable. But actually what I see is that Trump hasn't really made up his mind, really, because he could have done it a month ago, 2 months ago, and he's still not moving forward, right?
Right. And also this, steady sound bites and other rhetoric that is coming in from the American president and also from other members of his administration, such as Marco Rubio, that the United States wants to crack down on narco trafficking that is coming in from the Latin American nations. How do people in Venezuela view this?
So actually, most people in Venezuela, I think, are not giving it too much thought. They're kind of thinking if it happens, it happens, because they feel that it is not in their hands. It's a military matter, and this has happened before in other episodes of very recent Venezuelan history, where if the military is involved, I'm just going to stay out of it and wait for it to happen.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Ferrer, for joining us with that perspective there.